segments. But first up, let's get Sudarshan Sukhani, Mayuresh Joshi, Ambrish Baliga and Nuresh Mirani to tell you how to position yourself in this last hour of trade. Sudarshan, let me start off with you. If one had taken short positions, of course, now would perhaps be the good time to book out of the shorts, because the market has recovered a lot from the intraday lows.
No, but why should one take short positions? In the morning I said that we should get out immediately in the morning at the first ticks. I repeated it at 11 AM again. So I cannot imagine why anyone would carry short positions in a market that gapped down and then started moving up. That's a classical reversal day. If somebody still has a short position because of some reason or the other, exit now.
Okay, exit now. That's the Sudarshan strategy. Of course, that was the strategy he recommended in the morning and at 11 AM as well. So, Sudarshan, purely for last hour of trade, what would be your stock strategies? Would you believe this recovery is going to continue, and hence would you recommend buying ideas?
Yeah, I think this recovery will continue. This is Anuj, as I said, now this is a classical reversal day. Big gap down, and from that gap down a steady and a simple move up. It keeps on going up. And as I heard you say that you would not be surprised if the market closes in the green, I would not be surprised also if it closes in the green. Of course, we don't know what it will do, but it could. So the theme is to be on the long side. We are short-term traders. We are only talking of a couple of days. Tomorrow, perhaps today, tomorrow, and maybe till Friday. So everything is, I suggest, is going to be on the buy side.
Okay, so what are the individual stocks you're looking at?
Well, I start with SKS Microfinance. The NBFC space is a favorite, and SKS Micro has come out of a correction, is now moving back towards its earlier highs, and that's a good place to be in. The second is Hero MotoCorp. All the auto stocks are doing well. Hero MotoCorp is my preference for the day. And finally, Hind Unilever. Also, first it has bounced from a small correction low today, and second, Lever, ITC are easy candidates to buy if you want to push up the Nifty.
All right, Sudarshan, thanks a lot for those ideas, and we'll keep coming back to you. For now, let's go across to Ekta. She's waiting with 6 and 60, and a couple of her favorite stocks are not doing well. Ekta.
Absolutely. Well, I'll start with your stock, Anuj, BPCL. That one's reacting to its numbers. Profit of 1,018 crores versus a CNBC TV18 poll of 880 crores. Tata Power is in focus, reacting well to its numbers. Turnaround, profit of 247 versus a loss of 77 crores year on year. Sun Pharma, like you mentioned, the Halol facility has received an OAI from the US FDA, which is just one notch below getting a warning letter, so the probability increases. Dr. Reddy's has been downgraded by CLSA to underperform versus buy, so that stock is also under pressure in today's trading session after that 14% fall on Friday. And Tata Motors, where Credit Suisse says that this was a bad quarter, but the second half should be better, and you can see the turnaround which is coming on Tata Motors on an intraday basis. And lastly, BHEL, which has been downgraded to sell by Citi, and they've cut the target price to 169 as well versus 244 rupees. That stock down around 3.6%.
Okay, Ekta, thanks for that. Well, let's hop across to Rima now. She'll tell us about the mid-cap movers and shakers all in a minute. Rima.
Hi Sonia, I'm starting with the pharmaceutical bunch in the mid-cap space. So the first one on my list is Sequence Scientific. The stock has come off a bit. They received an establishment inspection report from the US FDA for its Mangalore API facility, which basically confirms the closure of the inspection which had been conducted. Aurobindo Pharma is reacting to its earnings. Margins were better than street expectations at 23.3%. SR Oil is zooming in trade after SEBI has given the company more time to the promoter to finalize a delisting offer, and they've also asked the company to match the Rosneft's offer for delisting. So that stock is gaining on the back of that. Midcap IT is on a tear, so Geometric, First Source, KPIT Technology, to name a few, are on the upside, led by Geometric. Havells, the profits are in line with street expectations. Sylvania profits, although higher on a year-on-year basis, are narrow on a quarter-on-quarter basis. The stock is up nearly 4.5%. Good earnings from companies like Deccan Cement as well as GE Shipping, and on the losing side, Texmo Pipes is locked in a lower circuit of 20%. The company has reported a loss this time, so that could be putting pressure on this small cap. Back to you.
All right, Rima, thanks a lot for that. the market is at high point of the day now. It's funny because it's still down about 0.5%, but considering the morning gap down, it's seen quite a bit of recovery, and in fact for the Bank Nifty as well, there's been a significant recovery now. Of course, the mid-cap index was the first to turn in the green, and now the advance decline ratio is comfortably in favor of advances. Mayuresh Joshi is also with us. Mayuresh, good afternoon. So suffice to say that the market has now well and truly priced Bihar in, or would you expect some more weakness over the next few days once the dust settles?
Afternoon, Anuj. Clearly, I think one really needs to give some more time for the markets to probably just digest what has probably happened with Bihar. And clearly over the next few months, what probably happens with the reform processes, specifically with the winter session of Parliament expected to begin soon, and what kind of agenda the government pushes forth in terms of the economic reforms being unlocked. I think that is the key pertinent the markets would like to watch out for. Again, I think internationally, Anuj, what happens with the Fed rate hike is a close event the markets would ideally like to watch. Clearly, earnings are not catching up. We do not expect earnings to catch up, at least till the first half of FY17. So again, I think if you look at the earnings trajectory, and if you look at the valuations that the markets are currently deriving at, we are not seeing a huge amount of upside probably over the next 2 to 3 months. So clearly, markets are here to stay in the range. Probably that range might be 7,500, 7,600, as we are mentioning time and again on the lower end, and probably a tough resistance faced at 8,200, 8,300.
Okay, well, Mayuresh, hi, afternoon. The biggest Nifty gainer at this point is Tata Motors. Despite what was a very weak set of numbers, the stock has seen a handsome rebound today. What do you do with that one now? You think the worst is over?
So clearly, Sonia, I think a clear hold, at least from my side. Yes, the numbers are a little bit weaker than what street expectations were, and even on the JLR front, the margins much lower than what we had penciled in. But clearly, even if you look at the trajectory of JLR margins being between 14 and 15% for the better part of FY16, and suffice to say, even for the first 2 quarters of FY17, a lot would get built up in terms of lower Chinese sales, the kind of product mix that is played on to the numbers for this quarter. But clearly, with the strategy coming across, at least in terms of how the modular platforms are getting evolved for Tata Motors, and even in their Chinese JV, I think that JV will reap fruits once we see some uptick in volumes. Now, when that will happen, I think it's a question of time. So I think whether that happens in the 4th quarter of FY16, the first half of FY17, I think the numbers will do the talking. But clearly, I think with new launches coming through, and again, even on the domestic side, MHCV doing exceptionally well for Tata Motors, our take is that this stock is something that can be held on by long-term investors.
Okay, by the way, the market is now firmly on recovery mode. Let's pull out some of the intraday charts. We spoke about the Bank Nifty, 2 stocks which stand out. One is IndusInd Bank and the other is Yes Bank. Pull out the intraday chart of both these stocks now at high point of the day. IndusInd Bank, in fact, is now in the green, and if you pull out Yes Bank, that's still in the red, but is trying to claw back in the green. 2 stocks which have really helped the market today, Reliance and ITC. And again, if you see the intraday chart of both these stocks, Reliance and ITC, they're helping the Nifty quite a bit. Reliance is at high point of the day at 960, and let's pull out ITC as well. That's also at high point of the day. So both these stocks are now trying to take Nifty in the green. Only 0.45% lower is what we have on the Nifty. Sudarshan, a word on both Reliance and ITC, in principle responsible for this late recovery.
No, that we understand, but I don't think ITC is a buying opportunity. It's easy to use ITC for a Nifty recovery, that's all. Reliance is a different story. Reliance has not gone through a deep correction as the other stocks did. It's in a trading range. So perhaps Reliance, if the Nifty continues to hold and reaches 8,000 and goes up a bit, not today, but soon enough, then Reliance becomes a buying opportunity.
Okay, well, we need to take a short break on that note, but before that, we leave you with the intraday chart of Havells as well. That stock, after it came out with its numbers, has spiked up considerably in the last 5 minutes. As you can see, a 7% uptick now on Havells post its numbers this quarter around. We'll take a break on that note, but when we come back, it's Diwali time. We kickstart the festive week with Dhanteras today. Dipen Shah of Kotak PCG will join in to give us their top picks for this Diwali's Muhurat trading session on the other side of the break. Well, the festive season has officially begun today with the 5-day celebrations for Diwali, starting with Dhanteras today. But what should you be buying this Mahura trading session? Dipen Shah of Kotak PCG joins us now to talk about that. Dipen, hi, good afternoon and thanks for joining us. You have a very interesting list of both large caps and mid cap stocks. So let me start off with the large caps. You've picked out Infosys, which had a very good earnings this quarter. But from now for the next 1 year, what kind of upside do you see for the stock?
Infosys, we currently have a target which gives an upside of about 10 to 12% from the current levels. We are basically bullish on Infosys because of the the results which the company has shown over the past 2 to 3 quarters, which clearly indicates that the revival plan is firmly in place, and the actions which the management has taken in the past 1 year should lead to consistent revenue growth with sustained margins over the next 1 year or so. The discount which the company trades at as compared to TCS, we believe that should narrow down a bit, and from the current levels of about 16.5, 17 times, we see adequate upside for the stock. So Infosys remains one of the picks for us in the large cap IT space.
Dipen, hi, good afternoon. So from the banks, you have chosen ICICI Bank. Is this the valuation call? Because the stock has fallen 30% this year.
That's true, the stock has fallen because of concerns on asset quality, which have also cropped up in various private sector banks apart from the PSU banks. What we understand is that the asset quality probably is near the bottom, the asset quality levels. On the other hand, we like the liability franchise of ICICI with about 45% CASA, which should lead to consistent improvement in NIM going ahead. And also we expect the ROA of the company to improve to around 1.8% next year, which should lead to an improvement in ROE to around 14.5-15%. So with valuations of the core bank at 1.5 times average book value or even lesser than that, we believe there is adequate scope for a re-rating of ICICI Bank, and hence it remains one of the better picks for us from the private sector banking space.
Okay, let's talk about the mid-cap space, because everyone wants to know the interesting multi-bagger ideas in the mid-caps. You've picked out 2 infra companies for us, PNC Infratech and Engineers India. What's the story in these 2 names?
See, both the companies have a very strong balance sheet. I think that is one factor which we keep in mind when we recommend infra stocks. For PNC Infra, apart from the strong balance sheet, we also like the consistent track record of the company. It has maintained core ROCE of 25% and more with consistent margins in the 12 to 15% band. We expect that the government's focus on roads should lead to significant order additions going ahead. The current order book of about 3,000 crores for PNC, along with the pipeline which it has, should lead to about 2 years visibility for PNC Infra going ahead, and that along with consistent margins should lead to decent revenue growth over the next couple of years. So with valuations at around 15 to 16 times next year earnings, we believe there is adequate scope for PNC Infra, and we also, as I said, I repeat, we like the track record of the company, the track record of the management, which has been very conservative in the past, and we also like the strong balance sheet for PNC Infra. On Engineers India, yes, it's a play on the hydrocarbon capex spend. With the subsidy burden for most of the refining and marketing companies reducing significantly, we believe that they will have good amount of cash to pursue their capex going ahead, and the consultancy part of that capex we do expect Engineers India to benefit from. Once again, Engineers India has a strong balance sheet with cash which is about 1/3 of the current market cap, and that makes us very positive on Engineers India. And we do expect capex news to start flowing in for the company, probably from the last quarter of this fiscal or first quarter of the next fiscal.
Okay, by the way, the stock that's surging now is Tata Motors. Pull out the intraday chart, and again, big surge in the stock, 4.5% higher now on Tata Motors. Should be the biggest contributor right now to the index. But Dipen, let's talk about some more mid caps. You have picked out All Cargo Logistics. What's the story here, and do you expect the stock to do well? I mean, in terms of percentage returns, how much do you expect next year?
All Cargo belongs to the logistics space, and we believe that in case the GST is passed, then logistics as a space could witness significant amount of action. Also for All Cargo specifically, the multimodal transport operations space has seen a very decent growth over the past 6 to 7 quarters, and so has the CFS space for the company. So the business of the company is pretty strong. GST should help it grow further. We also expect the earnings for All Cargo to grow at around 16 to 17% CAGR, and the stock is currently quoting at relatively inexpensive valuations of about 13.5-14 times next year. So that is something which makes us very positive on All Cargo. The bigger trigger obviously should be the passage of the GST bill, on which we are very positive on.
Okay, well, that stock is up about 20% in the last 12 months itself, but a couple of more stocks are starting to spike up now. We'll just take a look at the intraday chart of United Spirits. That one is up almost 5.5% right now and is back above the 3600 mark. Remember, this has been a very good quarter for United Spirits, so that stock is spiking up as we speak. So is Jet Airways, a good quarter for Jet Airways as well. So there's a theme. All of the companies that have had good earnings this quarter are now starting to see more and more buying interest. You have two more recommendations in the mid-cap space. So if you can take us through that. One of them is Supreme Industries and the other one is Century Plyboard. Both these stocks have given you good returns in the past, but here on, what is the expectation?
Century Ply obviously is the leader in the organized plyboard market in India. Once again, the passage of the GST bill should bode very well for the organized players in that space, because demand is expected to shift from the unorganized segment to the organized segment. Century Ply itself has got 7 strategically located manufacturing plants, and it has got a wide range, a wide marketing network with about 1500 dealers all across India. Century Ply, with the urban expenditure expected to grow further, we do expect the revenues and the profits to show about 20 to 27% growth CAGR for the next 2 years, and the current valuations about 16 to 17 times makes us feel that there is adequate upside for Century Ply going ahead. On Supreme, it's once again a story of a strong track record for the company with consistent ROCE of 35% and above. It has got various products which can once again benefit from the urban spend theme, and we do expect that the current low crude prices should continue to consistently bode well as far as the raw material cost for Supreme is concerned. So we expect the raw material cost to remain low, and that is something which should help good revenue and profit growth going ahead. And once again, valuations are around 16 to 17 times, which makes us positive on Supreme.
All right, Deepen, thanks a lot for those ideas, and wish you and your team a very happy Diwali. By the way, the market is now at the high point of the day. It will be worthwhile to bring out the contribution plate. Tata Motors, of course, is the biggest contributor, but now you have contribution from Reliance and ITC and Maruti as well, and State Bank of India. So these are the stocks that are trying to take Nifty back in the green. Sun Pharma remains the biggest drag, 13 point lower on Nifty because of that. Sudarshan, you know, as we discussed, there's a real possibility of the Nifty turning in the green, but would that only mean smart money actually booking these shorts and actually taking intraday longs? That's why you've seen this kind of trend, or do you think this pullback can extend for another 100-200 points on the Nifty?
Well, Anuj, I think it's both. Smart money probably was booking from morning onwards, and people what probably is fueling the rally just now is people who must have been caught short.
Yes.
And this is not a nice place to be if you are short 150 this intraday rally that we are seeing. So that's the reason. And this we are deeply oversold, and the bounce from 7800 could easily take us to 8000 or even 8100. So both factors are likely. Today's rally is probably because of short covering.
Okay, so the rally is probably because of short covering, but there are plenty of stocks that are seeing some fabulous moves today. Geometric Software is one of them, 15% higher now on that stock. Of course, it's been trading with handsome gains through the day, but now it continues to trade at the highest point of trade, as you can see. Mayuresh, any thoughts on this one? Have you tracked it?
No, Sonia, I think we don't track the mid-cap IT, but large-cap IT, yes. I think what we've seen from the results so far, I think we're highly encouraged by what Infosys and TCS have delivered. Though TCS did disappoint probably in terms of how the dollar revenue growth panned out for them, but clearly the order book, 30% as the management is indicating over their best order book. Infosys, with the guidance that it is given out, probably Q3, Q4 expected to be soft, but for the larger part of FY17, our take is that in constant currency terms, Infosys and TCS should deliver both in terms of how the top line grows, but also in terms of how utilization level picks up specifically for Infosys. So yes, I think the top tier IT names is where our liking and bias is. Infosys, TCS is something that we continue to prefer.
All right, gentlemen, stay on with us. We'll need to take a break, but our closing bell money control question of the day is on the two big pharma stocks. Sun Pharma and Dr. Reddy's both down post the US FDA issues. Will pharma sector underperform now? Log on to moneycontrol.com and post your responses, and we'll read out the most interesting ones post 3:30.
The sheer difficulty of corporate earnings to move. We've had 6 quarters now of no movement in corporate earnings, and I honestly don't see that changing over the next 2 to 3 quarters. So in a country where corporate earnings refuse to move, it's difficult to be too optimistic about the stock market, and that's why I've been circumspect for the last 6 months. That overall picture of an economy growing at 6-7%, but corporate earnings simply refusing to grow, I think unfortunately will remain our reality for a few quarters to come. That's the background mood music, which is negative, and on top of that you have these specific announcements around the Fed, around China, around Bihar elections, which will obviously dampen market enthusiasm.
I'm sure the government and the BJP in particular is going to sit down and figure out what to do next. We all hope that this only helps accelerate reforms and not slow them down, because if that happens, again, I think the markets, we've got multiple reasons why the market is, why foreigners are shunning the market at this point. The fact that it's too expensive, the capex cycle has not revived, and more importantly, the earnings growth continued to disappoint. So you've got a lot of negatives already sort of priced in, and foreigners and FIs are just not very keen on putting incrementally new money to work in India.
A 5 to 10% pullback in the index, if we got that, would create some very good opportunities in some of the companies that we like from a bottom-up standpoint. The exporters, I think clearly the exporters should have at least one tailwind behind them. Remember, Friday after the Indian market closed, you had very strong employment numbers come out of the US, which suggests that December is becoming a much higher probability. I think the probability now of a December rate hike is over 70%. So that does create, some currency headwinds for the Indian rupee, and that's obviously a tailwind for some of the export sectors. But whether it's IT or it's pharma or it's auto parts or it's textiles.
Welcome back. As we've been telling you, the market has recovered from the lows of trade. One of the stocks of the moment is Havells, which is now up almost 7.5%, and big volumes getting traded over there. In fact, the Sylvania business, which is still loss-making on the bottom line, has reported a slight improvement as far as, or slight stability as far as the overall earnings are concerned. And in some of their businesses, their margins have also improved. So Havells up almost about 7% or so. But Anuj, in the F&O space, what are you noticing? Because there's been a considerable improvement that we've seen today.
Yeah, and again, Sonia, not surprised with this recovery, and this point is again emphasized with the options data. Look at the India VIX, the India Volatility Index, that is down 12% right now. And a lot of people would ask that the volatility has actually risen so much intraday today, why the VIX is down. The VIX prices in the fear factor. This was a mini binary event that we were talking about. So the VIX was factoring that in, and that's why the option premiums were very high. And that is what has reversed now. What you're now seeing is that a big event is out of the way, so the options are priced accordingly. So now the India VIX is down to 17. So much so that on a day like today, if you would have bought puts yesterday and would not have squared off first thing in the morning or during the first hour of trade, you would be losing big time. You know, pullout says 7900 put. 7900 put premium is down 40%. The Nifty is still in the red, and still the 7900 put premium has come down. Why has that happened? That's happened because the volatility is gone now. So from 130, it's gone down to 82 rupees. In the morning, it gave you an opportunity with a price of 200 rupees. But from that point, you have seen the big collapse. The other bit to watch out for is the call action. We started to see call build up at 7900, 8000, 8100. I'll be watching out for the FI data in FNO to see if this 8000 and 8100 call is mostly on call writing, because the premium there has halved or more than halved in certain cases. So what that is telling you is that don't read too much also in this intraday pullback. It's just pure short covering from the people who from A, smart money, which would have been shorting for last 3 or 4 days, and B, from those who would have shorted unfortunately first thing in the morning today, hoping that the market would go to 7500, and that hasn't happened. So it's a combination of the two short coverings that's taken market higher, but it should not mean that a trend has been established in the market. There's still a risk of this market showing one more round of sell-off. Not today, maybe tomorrow, or maybe day after that.
All right, well, that's the word on the FNO space, but let's get to our favorite segment that we do every Monday, Midcap Mania with Nigel D'Souza. And the stock on his radar today is a company whose stock has risen a whopping 105% since June 2015, and their profits have soared 40% this quarter. Nigel, what's the gem that you've identified for us today?
Well, Sonia, the stock that we're talking about is Control Print. The stock has been on a bit of a run, as you said, and the company's into, where every time you buy something, you have this manufacturing product name, etc. The company, they sell printers that are used for printing this particular material, be it on cement, be it on even FMCG products. A couple of their clients include the likes of Hindustan Unilever as well as Emami. Now, this is the background of what exactly the company does. It's into coding as well as the marking industry. The total industry size is roughly around 600 to around 650 crores approximately, and the entire industry is growing at a CAGR of around 15%. The big players in the industry should come up for you. Domino has nearly around 32%, and Videojet, at one point of time, this company, that's Control Print, was a distributor of Videojet's products till 2017. Then that relationship fell apart, and then in fact this company has got into the same line of business. Currently they hold only around 16 to around 17%. The leader, Domino, has close to have double their market share in the market. Now, going ahead, this particular company, that's Control Print, is looking at increasing their total share to around 25%. So they're looking to get into that second, or in fact the third position in terms of market leaders. The stock, it's doubled if you just take a look at it from June 2015. In the last 10 days, the stock has been under pressure. It was down close to around 8 to around 10%. Promoters, they have been increasing stake in the company. They've been converting some of their warrants, so that's always a good thing. Currently at around 56% approximately. Varinder had covered the stock as well in his favorite segment. So over there we saw that the numbers, last quarter numbers, were quite good. There was a growth on the top line. Margins have started moving towards the 29% approximately, and profitability as well has been moving up. So the last quarter numbers, they were fairly impressive. If you take a look at it on an EPS basis at the halfway stage, it is at around 13 rupees. So even if they replicate this performance, they should be at around 26, 27 rupees, telling you that the stock is trading at around 16 to 17 times. So it's not very, very cheap. Investors should note that in mind. What are the limitations? As I said, there are only around 10 to around 12 big players in the market. They are in fourth position. So that's one of the limitations, because the bigger players, they're really looking to eat into the market share. It's a technology intensive business. At one point of time, they were sourcing it from other players. Currently, they're in a tie-up with a German player. So technology is something that they need to focus on. They're dependent on partners for technology, because that's really how the industry has been functioning. And finally, they have dependency on other sectors like the FMCG sector, the cement sector. They do some work even for Tata Steel. So they have a dependence on various sectors, but they can always adjust themselves. So that's one of the positives, in fact, if you look at it. In terms of the other positives, they have a clean balance sheet. Promoters have been increasing stake. The ratios as well are quite good. Margins at around 29%. The ROIC, in fact, is closer towards 22 to around 23%. So that as well is fairly positive. And I've went through the company's presentation, and they have said that in fact now localization of plants is to the tune of nearly around 96%. At one point of time, it was far below that particular level. So that's the stock that I've picked, Control Print.
All right, Nigel, thanks a lot for that. That's a controlled trend, a stock which has done well. But Naresh Mirani now tells you what to buy or sell today for a reverse trade tomorrow. Naresh, good afternoon. What are your stock picks?
Good afternoon. The two stocks which I like for a VTST trade is Apollo Tyres with a stop loss at 155 and a target of 170. And another is Escort with a stop loss of 152 and a target price of 170.
All right, Naresh, thanks a lot for that. Well, Ambrish Paliga, Sudarshan Sukhani and Mayuresh Joshi are with us now for closing chat. Just about 15 minutes left. The market from high point has slipped a bit, but still comfortably off the low point of the day. Ambrish, hi, good afternoon. A word on what's happened in trade today, and how would you position yourself now?
In fact, I mean, I was clearly looking at a major cut like everyone else, but I didn't really expect this sort of a bounce back from the lower levels. So my feel is that we would be in this range on the lower side up to 7750, 7800 levels, and on the higher side maybe about 7900, 7950. I think crossing 8000 immediately could be a bit difficult. So over the next couple of days, I think this should be the range.
Okay, by the way, a couple of other stocks that are now moving up with quite a bit of fervor. Take a look at the intraday chart of Motherson Sumi. In the last half an hour, that stock has been yanked up by about another 4 or 5 odd %, and now Motherson Sumi has given you returns of almost 18-19% in 2 trading sessions itself. That's the kind of move that we've seen on that particular name. Allahabad Bank, where the asset quality has been stable this time around, is also up almost about 4.5% now, and TVS Motors had a good run today. That stock up almost about 3 odd % or so. Varinder Bansal is also with us. He'll spot a couple of more buzzing stocks that he has observed in the last 10 minutes or so.
Sorry, a lot of stocks clearly, some of the late gainers in the last 15-20 minutes. Look at the intraday charts of some of the stocks like Cerebra Integrated, Taneja Aerospace, Ismo, Signet Industries, Aptech, Panyam Cement. These are stocks which are moving in the last 15-20 minutes. Some of the results impact, clearly GE shaping the stock of the day in terms of the results. Deccan Cement up nearly 15%, Copran, Stovak Industries, Manugraph India, Gitanjali Gems, Axis Skates, VA Tech Vabag, all these stocks are gaining on positive results. On negative results, look at some of the companies like Excel Industries, Shilpi Cables, both down over 10%. TIL Limited, Lumix Industries, Camlin Fine down over 5%. Some of the mid-cap gainers, SR Oil is one stock which is gaining since morning, but the mid-cap IT space, Geometric, Majesco, Sasken, all of them are moving up. And ahead of that Indigo listing tomorrow, SpiceJet, huge volumes traded today, and Jet Air is also moving up. Two stocks which are trading in the red today in the mid-cap, watch out for Oberoi Realty. That stock was down 4 or 5% last time I checked, and IDFC Banks, still moving down 4 or 5% after its listing which happened. The results is getting over, and at the small cap we have all those Ayurvedic or massage kind of stocks which are moving up today, which is Kerala Ayurveda and Sanjeevani Parental. Also some tea stocks like Bengal Tea and Fabrics, Terai Tea also moving up today. MP Distilleries, this has been theme of this earnings season in the small cap space, that is moving up. Cupid again a move of 5 or 6%. Trigen Tech up 20%, Eland Apparels up 20%, CJ Finance, Tokyo Plus International, Nagarjuna Agrichem, B&A, Mindtech India, Singer India, ANG Auto, Raja Plam Mills, Raju Engineering, all these stocks are gaining on good volumes today and over 10%. Nitin Fire Protection, Dynamic Industries, a new name with this Kathwa Udyog is moving up today. Also new name Danla Tech is moving up today. Rose Labs Finance, TVS Electrics, Mangalam Drugs, Prime Property Development Corporation, Nectar Life, a lot of stocks which are trading and good volumes.
All right, Varinder, thanks a lot for that. You covered a lot of sectors actually in that.
Interesting sectors, that too, right?
Sectors. Let's just put it
I
that
was looking at Kathwa Udyog, that's a cement maker. So that's interesting, something new we learned today.
Yes, a lot of stocks. In fact, you'll learn a lot more about a lot more stocks if you keep listening to Varinder and his list of buzzing stocks. But let's get back to our experts then. Sudarshan, the Nifty almost went into the green and has slipped from there. Is that giving you a message, or are we reading too much into every 5-minute move?
No, I think it's not important, it's not relevant. The fact is that we had a reversal day today, and that tells us that the best case scenario for the markets is that it will become choppy from henceforth. It will go 100 points up, some points down, and hopefully it will create a trading range which will eventually lead to the next move of the market. It's very unlikely that we are seeing a sharp dip again tomorrow. That's almost ruled out. And this is not the beginning of an up move. It's probably the beginning of a consolidation, a wide 100, 200, 250 point consolidation.
Okay. Ambrish, three of these companies that are hot favorites with traders and investors and have reported good numbers this time around. Motherson Sumi, United Spirits and Jet Airways, which whose internals have improved.
Right.
Between these three, any of the names that you like?
I think only United Spirits, because that's where clearly I think the books have been cleaned up to a very large extent, and they are clearly concentrating on the high margin business as such. So I think that should pay off over the next 4 to 6 quarters. So that's one stock I would surely watch out for, but may not be at these levels. It's moved up decently well in the last few days. So I think a price of closer to about 3100, 3150, I think one should be looking at that. Jet Airways can again move up possibly on listing of Indigo. It can move up in tandem, and I think the current scenario is extremely good for the airline stocks, but then we should remember that this stock has more than doubled in the past couple of months. So there can be an upside of up to the levels of say 475, 480 because of the Indigo IPO and the listing. And the third one, Motherson Sumi, I think whatever has happened in the recent past, the sort of shockers which we have got, I think that will weigh on the stock for a while. I think this is only a dead cat bounce which we are seeing as of now. So I really don't see the stock going too much beyond that 310 levels.
Okay. Amrish, is the risk reward now favoring you in Sun Pharma or Dr. Reddy's, or would you avoid them?
No, I mean, they have been on my buy list even in the past. They were my favorites as far as pharma is concerned, and we should, always remember that US FDA is a sword dangling on all the pharma stocks, and whenever there is anything negative, from that side, I think that is an opportunity to buy these stocks. But would I go out and buy today? May not be, because the sort of selling pressure which is there can actually take these stocks still move further down. So something like a Dr. Reddy, I would start looking at it at levels of about 3350, and something like Sun Pharma, possibly either say 30-40 rupees lower than here, should be an entry point, because when we are talking of the large pharma stocks, the established ones, I think whenever there's an adverse news from US FDA, that's the time to start buying. And whenever there's a extremely positive news, that's possibly a time to book out to a certain extent. If you look at the graphs in the last 2 years, and point out as to whenever there's been a US FDA negative news and a US FDA positive news, that's a great trading range.
Okay, that's an interesting correlation. But one of the top gainers, or in fact the top gainer on the index today, is Tata Motors. So let's try and get you a couple of brokerage views on the same. Today, if you remember, Tata Motors posted a very disappointing set of numbers, but most brokerages believe that perhaps the worst is over for the stock. So two of them, CLSA has, okay, first we'll start with Credit Suisse. It has a target price of 490. They say yes, this quarter was bad, but the second half of the year should be much better. And yes, JLR margins have collapsed this time, but the India business has seen some improvement and that trend could continue. CLSA also reiterates a buy. They say that they have in fact cut their FY16 to FY18 EPS by 5 to 18%, but they also mentioned that there will be a sharp recovery in JLR volumes in the second half of the year, and the new products will be ramped up across regions, and that will aid the recovery going ahead. That argument is taken, Ambrish, but the fact is that the stock has already doubled from its recent close.
Absolutely.
So you think the meat is now out of the stock?
I think so, because I was a buyer at 280, 300 levels, and by the time it reached 395, 400, I'm completely out of that. Out of this counter. So at these levels, I clearly feel that the risk-reward ratio is not very favorable. There is momentum. There are these buy reports. It can move up some more from here, but should you buy fresh at this point of time? I don't think so.
Okay, well, the market is slipping again a bit. As Sudarshan said, maybe we are reading too much into that, but from the high point, clearly we have seen a bit of a reversal, and the stock responsible for that is HDFC. In fact, HDFC and ICICI Bank, pull out the intraday chart of both these stocks. HDFC more particularly, because that's a vertical fall that you've seen in HDFC, and ICICI Bank as well. has seen almost similar intraday chart. If you pull out that also had recovery. The fall is less compared to HDFC, so HDFC clearly stands out. Sudarshan, HDFC has turned into a weak stock. It's really clearly putting quite a bit of pressure on the market.
It is, but I wouldn't go and short it ever. It's one of the best stocks in the Nifty universe. This is a short temporary decline we are seeing. It's a correction or whatever else you can call it. So we wait patiently for a buying opportunity. HDFC and HDFC Bank both should only be bought into and never short sold.
Okay, well that point is taken. Sudarshan, we always wait till the Muhurat trading session to ask you for your Diwali picks. So let's prepone that discussion a little bit. We've been asking all our fundamental guests on what their Diwali recommendations are. What about you? What would you recommend the retail investor to buy from this Samvat to next?
Well, I would recommend mainly large caps, and you start with State Bank of India. This is a good time to start doing an SIP. First of all, I don't think retail investors should go all in during the Diwali buying spree. They have to make an SIP because the Nifty is not necessarily going to stay here. It could come down. So you have to take advantage of every dip or decline that the market goes through in the next few months. Buy State Bank of India, buy HDFC Bank, and a recent favorite is Godrej Industries, which is a mid cap, but I think it's just going to do nice things.
Okay, talking about Godrej, Geometric has been the big star today, Ambrish.
Right.
What's happening? You know, we had a deal in Polaris, of course.
Right.
Is that what the market sense now, that maybe
I'm
the
not
next
too sure for Geometric because I really don't track that. So it's a bit difficult for me to really give advice on that.
Mayuresh, any sense on Geometric or any other mid-cap IT stock that you like?
So clearly, I discussed earlier, I think the top tier names is something that we continue to prefer, but something that I'll hold on from the mid-cap space would be something like a Mindtree. I think the new acquisitions have done exceptionally well for them. And clearly, if you go forward, I think the yield on investment should start paying off in the greater part of FY17. So top tier IT is something that we'll continue to buy on declines, and within the mid-cap IT, I think Mindtree is something that I'll hold on to.
Okay, well, from the mid-cap pharma space, one of the stocks of the year clearly has been Dishman Pharma. It's hit a fresh high today of almost 400 rupees. In fact, it did hit that 400 rupee mark, and now the stock is up 200% this year, since the start of the year and now. So slowdown or no slowdown, some of these pharma stocks are doing exceptionally well. But Ambrish, what about something like Havels? It's up 7% today.
Right.
Numbers didn't look that great. Okay, there was stability,
yes,
but no great growth there.
No, and again, that really may not happen for a while. I mean, we had that management warning coming, I think, about a year back, and after that, we have never seen Havels really performing. So again, here also, I think this is a short-term sort of a move which we are seeing as of now. Again, don't really see it going beyond that 270, 275 levels. So I think if it goes to those levels, clearly it's a sell.
Okay, by the way, Jain Irrigation DVR, pull out the intraday chart of that one. So far when we talk about DVR, we've only referred to Tata Motors DVR, but there's another DVR trading in the market. That's the Jain Irrigation DVR. That's trading at 47 rupees. So there also the discount is nearly about 30% or so, and that's got a bit trimmed today. So 12% higher is what we have on Jain Irrigation at this point in time. Ambrish, are you tracking the developments on Jain Irrigation, the BSE news, and what's the call on the stock?
In fact, that's one of my Diwali picks this year, and I think this is a very underrated stock. People are only looking at it purely from an irrigation player, but then I think we should remember that this company is also into food processing, one of the larger ones, in that they have tissue culture, and especially when you're giving high sort of PEs for the seed companies, why is the same thing not applicable to Jain Irrigation? So I think going ahead, it's clearly a one-stop shop for
what's your price objective on this?
In fact, I'm looking at levels of about 110, 120 at least. Yeah, at least that much.
Okay, that's Jain Irrigation. But just about 3 minutes left for markets to close. So let's just do a quick recap. Well, don't know how to call today. I mean, half an hour back, you could have easily said that it was a sharp recovery day. It will still qualify as a sharp recovery day, but towards the end, there was again a bit of shorting that took place. But all said and done, the Nifty recovered more than 100 points from the low point. Low point was 7771. So it's almost a 150-point recovery that the Nifty will end with. The Bank Nifty will end with 300-point recovery. So you have to say that from the low point, there was quite a bit of recovery. In terms of individual names, let's start with losers first, because it was still a down day. So Sun Pharma was your top loser, 5.5% lower. Dr. Reddy's, another 3.5% gone on that one. Apart from that, you had Ken that was down 4%, BHEL was down 4%. But the real pressure for the market came from three stocks. HDFC, that was down about 2%. ICICI Bank, that was down about close to 1.5%. And Larsen & Toubro, that was down about 1.5%. HDFC Bank, NTPC and ONGC were the other notable losers in today's trade. In terms of gaining stocks, ITC, Tata Motors was a top contributor, so let's put that first, 4.5% higher on Tata Motors. But from both point of view, ITC is an important stock that did well. Maruti was up about 2%, some buying in Bank of Baroda and PNB. So all in all, a decent day, very high volume, so expect a big DI buy number. But the story of the day was also in the mid caps, in the way the advanced decline actually closed in the favor of the advancing stocks.
Oh yes, what a dramatic turnaround it was, Anuj, and the theme of the day was a lot of buying in some of the quality mid-cap names that have delivered good earnings this time around. So let me take you through some of the specific stocks. Motherson Sumi, good earnings, good buying in that name. United Spirits, good quarterly numbers and strong buying over there. Dishman Pharma, Aurobindo Pharma, Tube Investments, Jet Airways, lot of buying in names like these. Havels, where the numbers were stable this time around, so Havels up almost 7% Geometric Software was one of the big gainers of the day, 14% higher over there. And then you had some of the sugar names like Balrampur Chini, Bajaj Hindustan that did quite well. So those were a couple of other stocks in the green. Heidelberg Cement as well from the cement space, along with something like Radico Khaitan that continues to hit new highs. Those were a couple of stocks that ended in the green. On the red side, you had Adani Power that came in for profit taking. HDIL, BHEL, Idea Cellular, Ambuja Cement, IFCI, SAIL and Hindalco were a couple of other stocks that closed in the red today. So all in all, you'll have to say that the market closed down 0.5%, but it did recover dramatically from the lows of trade, and the mid caps in fact have closed in the green. So it seems like for now the Bihar news has been well digested and now the market is looking ahead. So we end the day at the 7900 level on the Nifty, the mid caps in the green, and the Bank Nifty has underperformed today. So that will be the big disappointment. But let's get some more calls in. Mayuresh, from the list of Mahurat picks, what would your top 1 or 2 recommendations be?
So Sonia, from the mid-cap space, what we really like is stocks within the education space. So MT Educare is something we believe there can be stupendous growth going forward. So we're expecting a 20% top line growth happening over the next couple of years, a bottom line growth of 27% and clearly valuations in favor of MT Educare. I think the numbers were exceptionally good this time around, specifically on the bottom line. Within the consumer durable space in the mid-cap universe, Surya Roshni is something we continue to like. Their steel business has been a drag both on their EBIT as well as on the bottom line, but clearly I think the consumer durable business has held up exceptionally well for them, and our own take is the earnings growth should be quite decent for Surya Roshni over the next couple of years. Inox Wind is something that we continue to prefer. Our take is Q3, Q4 are exceptionally strong quarters for Inox Wind. They've got a very strong order book, and again in terms of valuations, trading at very attractive valuations at this point of time. So I think few of picks that we like at this point of time. You did mention Radico Khaitan. I think it is one of our top picks, but very close to our target price at this point of time.
Sudarshan, the chart of the Nifty on the Nifty stocks, which looks a bit broken down, is ICICI Bank. I mean, it's practically made you money at any level if you would have short it through the year. What's that telling you about ICICI Bank and the Bank Nifty, the larger picture?
It's telling us that ICICI Bank is weak and probably looking at lower levels. A larger picture for the Bank Nifty is that the underperformance we are seeing is likely to continue. I am mildly bearish on the market because I'm looking at a Nifty lower than where we are eventually. So, and the chances are that the Bank Nifty will contribute because it is likely to underperform.
Okay, Sudarshan, since it is Dhanteras today, just wanted your view on gold as well. I know everyone and their uncle has been bearish on gold, but for the retail, long-term, emotional investor, does it still make sense to buy gold on Dhanteras day, or is that now, something of the past?
No, only as a token. I mean, don't put a lot of money or don't buy a lot of gold. The gold bonds that the government is issuing, which give 2.75% interest, is a far more sensible way to buy gold now. But if you do want, just buy the smallest possible amount of physical gold. Gold is not upbeat.
Okay, gold is not upbeat. Amrish, Z has corrected quite a bit now, 11% lower. Anecdotally, that's the all that it gives, 10 to 15%.
Right.
Good time to buy, or would you avoid it?
No, I think clearly looking at the sort of results they came out with, and with the sort of correction which we have seen as of now, I think putting 2 plus 2 together should be buying it at these levels. Don't really see too much of a downside. Along with this, I would also suggest one should be buying Dish, where again we have seen a decent correction from those levels of 118, 120. It is below 100. So I think at these levels you should buy both Dish as well as Z.
Amrish, sorry, Sudarshan, what's your reading of the chart? Both Dish TV and Z Entertainment?
Well, both are outperformers. I'm really using the word outperformer and underperformer because if I keep on saying that the Nifty is heading down, then whatever you buy will probably become lower after a few weeks or few days. But Z and Dish TV are certainly better opportunities as compared to many other mid caps.
Okay, fair enough. One final question to you then, Mayuresh, before we end the discussion. Tomorrow we have the Indigo IPO that lists, and you have been recommending subscribe to this IPO. The subscription was quite high as well, almost 5 times total. But what do you see as the listing price, and what should one do post-listing?
So clearly, Sonia, I think if one really is intending to hold on to the stock for a long time, our recommendation had to be to subscribe at the higher end of the band. And clearly the logic that we're trying to use is the profitability is there for the world to see, probably the profitability in terms of how the numbers have grown over the last few years, and the management intent on focusing on profitability will keep the headline in high spirits. Secondly, I think the ETF pricing is where we believe would consolidate around the current range. You've already seen good numbers coming in through from the peers, Jet, Spice. That has a telling effect in terms of how the EBITDA and the bottom line performs for a lot of these companies. So with ETF expected to stay in a range, Indigo should benefit vastly from this this raw material correction as well. So clearly I think our subscribe on the higher end stays, and clearly I think we expect the stock to open higher and probably sustain those higher levels once it opens.
Alright gentlemen, we'll leave it at that. You guys have a good day. We'll see you again tomorrow and through the course of the week. For now, we will take a short break. But coming up on the other side,